What's up, guys? Blade Master here. Welcome to what's going to be a very fun battle in the Blade Balance mod. It's just a regular 1v1 that I fought against Angry Wallace. We're going to be fighting in Nemetisena, and it's going to be a very cool matchup between two super fun factions. You guys, I really like watching these two factions play against each other. It's the Odrysian Kingdom versus the Lusitani. I've taken the Odrysian Kingdom super Falks heavy, and he has taken the Falcata heavy Lusitani. Clash between two titans in the melee infantry front, but of course, Lusitani have a huge edge with their veteran shield warriors, which I think Angry Wallace would want to capitalize on. And as long as he can block the charges of the Odrysian Kingdom, then he should be set for a victory. Now, usually that's not very easy with the Lusitani, but the biggest change to the Blade Balance mod that has made Lusitani a whole bunch more powerful are the addition of the cost reduction of the Lusitani swordswomen. They're now only 260 talents, which actually makes them a very nice meat shield to block enemy charges, especially something like Odrysian Kingdom, because you see these these fine ladies have frenzied charge, which actually doesn't do really anything to the charge. I might just consider changing the name of this ability. It doesn't really do anything to their charge that much. The bigger, the more important buff to it is that it makes them unbreakable. So it can actually completely block an enemy charge, even if it's something like a Fox. They'll essentially fight right down to the last woman and, deplete all of the charge of, any Odrysian Kingdom unit, which has great charge bonus. And then you can send in your Lusitani warriors or your veteran shield warriors to finish off the Odrysians. If the Odrysian Kingdom's Fox units do not get a charge off, then they're basically worthless. So, very glass cannon faction. The other big change that is going to actually help out the Odrysian Kingdom to counter sort of this glass cannoniness is their Thracian slingers. The Thracian slingers now have a 60% or 55% missile block chance. Just literally the highest missile block chance in the game. So they are going to trade actually very well against the Balearic slingers. Now the Balearic slingers themselves have been buffed. They've been given a 30% missile block chance shield. Before they had a really shit 10%. So now they are themselves quite resistant to enemy missile fire, but these slingers are so cheap that as he's spending ammo on them, he's really wasting a lot of his money and a lot of the value of these otherwise very deadly units. So you should just go ahead and switch targets, but that's easier said than done, because that is the very point of this army. The build is this Odrysian Kingdom build is all sorts of spread out. You've got spaghetti all over, so for you Italian food haters, this is not a good build for you, or good video for you guys to watch. Two mercenary veteran Harpidates up in front, going to form a solid core behind two Thracian slingers. Also got two Thracian Peltasts as well, who are going to be on the sides. Just a multi-purpose unit, can either shoot into the flanks or could shoot into the center if the enemy is pouring all of his strength into the center. And then on my extreme flanks, I've got a Thracian Noble and a Thracian Warrior on my left flank, and a Thracian Noble General and a Thracian Warrior on my right flank, all backed up by a Mercenary Fox each. And then a total of 4 Thracian Horsemen, pretty weak Horsemen, and then finally 2 Thracian Cavalry to give me a mobile edge. Now, the Thracian Horsemen are mainly going to be there just to dent the enemy charge and then let my Thracian Nobles come in. I was actually hoping this would maybe be like a Veteran Shield Warrior or something like that, so then my Thracian Noble could easily cleave through this through that Veteran Shield Warrior instantly. But they're going to cleave through this Scutari Spearman just as easily, if not easier. The Thracian Nobles is just going to slaughter them. 38 kills, 40 kills on the charge. They have popped cavalry counter-tactics, so they've got a lot of kills on my Thracian Horsemen, but the Thracian Horsemen have dented the charge of the Scutari Cavalry, letting my Thracian Warriors get a rear charge on the Lusitani Guerrillas and kill off a lot of them. He's brought a Cantabrian Cav, a total of 2 Scutari Cav, and he's brought 3 Veteran Shield Warriors, 3 Balearic Slingers, 1 Iberian Swords, a couple of Lusitani Swordswomen, and looks like only 2 Lusitani Nobles, 1 Iberian Cav. And that's about it. The Cantabrian Cav is a strange addition. I wouldn't really recommend it against an Odrysian Kingdom build, but I like the addition of the Scutari Spearmen because, of course, Odrysian Kingdom can go cavalry heavy with their very good Thracian Royal Cav. So in that sense, he kind of covered his bases, but I don't really get the addition of the Cantabrian Cav. The Iberian Cav is good at 450 talents, but not all that great. They could be pretty useful against the Odrysian Kingdom, though, especially against the Thracian Warriors. Now, the Lusitani Swordsman is going to dent the charge of the Thracian Horseman, then he's going to bring his Iberian Cav to countercharge. I'm also bringing in a Thracian Warrior here, some of whom are getting destroyed by that charge from the Iberian Cav. But they are going to destroy all of these Lusitani swordsmen, get a lot of kills, 35 kills on the charge. This Thracian Horseman has also gotten caught by the Lusitani swordswomen. Here in the center, I pulled back one of my mercenary veteran Harpidates, charged in with my Thracian Nobles, and the Thracian Nobles actually took a shit ton of damage on the charge. No, actually no, that's the veteran Shield Warriors, never mind. The veteran Shield Warriors obviously crumble against the Thracian nobles charge, get completely hammered. So really should have kept that Lusitani swordsman or Iberian swordsman here, but they are getting good shots into the flanks of my Thracian nobles here, and the mercenary veteran hoplite, literally the opposite is happening. But more important engagement here. Very smart play by Angry Wallace. He charged in with the Scutari Cav, blunted the charge of my Thracian nobles general, and you can see how poorly they perform, especially against a Lusitani noble now, getting completely hammered. Now, I did keep my mercenary Foxmen in a decent enough position, but I really want to reposition them and get a good charge. But looks like my Thracian noble general is going to crumble before that charge even happens. So it is not looking very good. I've suffered a very early gen death, and my Thracian horsemen are obviously going to start routing very soon. Thracian nobles here generally recently died, but they are in a decent-ish position. Against Lusitani swordsmen and Scutari cavalry, another Lusitani swordsman is trying to rear charge them, so I'm going to pull back this Thracian horseman with a timely frenzy charge to keep them unbreakable. And then I'm going to come in with a mercenary foxmen who are already steady, but they should be able to get a very nice charge into Lusitani swordsmen and into a very decent general blob for them. Mercenary veteran hoplites here against the veteran shield warriors. Looks like the mercenary veterans are eventually going to win out that battle. Not very cost-effective trade, but it's a necessary unit to bring in any Odrysian Kingdom army to provide a kind of stable backbone. This Thracian cavalry charged into the Balearic Slingers, but the Balearic Slingers proving to be quite a nuisance, not routing. And Scutari cavalry, of course, helping. The other Thracian cavalry just chased down that Cantabrian cavalry and killed it off. Basically, it's got much better melee stats. It's there on the far side of the map. Now, I've got one mercenary veteran hoplite at basically full strength, which got a very cheeky charge onto the veteran shield warriors, which were chasing after my Thracian Peltasts. So the Thracian Peltasts actually proved to be very useful there. This Thracian Peltast is also proving to be incredibly useful, cornering the general and then pouring in a shit ton of fire. They've got 10 ammo and they've got quick reload, and they're just going to slaughter this Lusitani noble while I come in with the Thracian cavalry charge. And now the Thracian nobles, I pulled them away. Now they're getting a second charge onto Lusitani swordsmen. Didn't get a proper charge in, but the Lusitani nobles themselves didn't really get a great charge on the Thracian nobles. That's why I don't really like the Thracian nobles. 2 glass cannon in a unit. I mean, they're not as mobile or as devastating on the charge as a shock cavalry. You know, they can be much more devastating than a shock cavalry charge, but a shock cavalry is much more maneuverable. You can easily position it into the exact position that you want. It doesn't move around in very loose formation, so a charge is going to be, tight, cohesive, and packs a punch. But that's not the case with the Thracian nobles. Now, the versatility of the Thracian Peltasts is going to come into play here. No. Pause. I really want to show you guys this. I go ahead and rear charge with the Thracian Peltasts. They actually have a pretty shit charge bonus of 12. But to improve the versatility, I've put frenzy for these units. The Thracian Peltasts serves it gives a decent flavor to these guys. Now they are very good in late game anyways with their 10 ammo. But now you can see this rear charge onto Lusitani nobles with their great charge bonus of 32 means these Lusitani nobles lose a shit ton of men, and that's a very important number of kills that they've got on very important units. So 95 kills, almost a double XP chevron with these Thracian Peltasts, and I come in with that Thracian cavalry which killed off the Cantabrian cavalry all the way over here, which is why I don't think that Cantabrian cavalry was a good investment. This Thracian Slinger was chased off by the Scutari Cav, was kind of wasting its time killing off this Thracian Slinger. Should have been instead focusing on this Thracian Peltast, which is steadily getting up another XP chevron. And the Thracian Peltast rear charge essentially saved this Thracian noble, and that's now got 40 men, 40 very crucial men, because there's one Lusitani noble left here at 45 men that's fighting up against my mercenary veteran hoplite, and that got a triple experience chevron. So yeah, the Lusitani nobles are incredibly powerful. They are fighting up against the mercenary veteran hoplites. They're obviously going to kill them off very soon, but the mercenary veteran hoplites with their hoplite phalanx are going to hold strong. The Thracian cavalry here just proving to be a nuisance, hitting some of the Balearic Slingers, popping flaming shot, and then inducing some morale penalties on the Scutari spearmen while they rear charge them. Scutari spearmen, of course, don't have great morale, only 50 morale. Their general died as well, so they're going to be able to rout, and that means this Lusitani noble as well is going to rout. It was a very close game, and I think that flaming shot kind of, skewed things a little bit in my favor, of course. But this Thracian noble was always going to win that game out for me. Costly victory, and I really like this game. But because it shows at once the weaknesses and strengths of both factions. The Falses, the Thracian nobles. This is why I continually say I don't really like bringing more than 1 or 2 of them, because bringing 3 or 4 might sound like a good idea. I mean, these are units that can just chew through half an oath throne on the charge. But the thing is, if you don't get that, that perfect engagement, which almost 70 to 80% of the time you won't get that perfect engagement. If for some reason some of the game mechanics block these Thracian nobles from getting that perfect charge, then they're not going to be nearly useful. They'll probably drop to 50% of their original strength because they didn't get a proper charge. So much of their damage depends on the charge. That's why someone said, "Why don't you pop? Why don't you give them frenzy?" It's at the best, it's not going to change anything. It's just going to be overkill, and worst case scenario, it just makes them super OP. But I doubt it'll really make them super OP. I just don't see why I would put that in. They're already devastating on the charge, but the thing is that it's very hard to get a proper charge on them. Mercy veteran Hoplites, that's why I like to bring these guys, bring a stable core. They didn't get many kills, but this one lasted for such a long time. It's clear that if I didn't bring them, the my right flank would have crumbled quickly, and then they could have just collapsed. The Lusitani army could have collapsed onto the rest of my units and killed them off. Thracian warriors did okay for how few of them there were. Got 109 and 116 kills. It's not bad for a unit that costs 420 talents. The Thracian Peltasts, though, of course, doing really, really well. Amazing units, and I don't think any Thracian army is complete without them. Thracian cavalry as well doing okay. I mean, doing actually very good. And the Thracian horsemen, they were primarily served as mobile meat shields. Thracian slingers, of course, did a good job in denting some of the ammo of the ammo bags of the Balearic slingers. Balearic slingers themselves didn't do as well as they should have. I mean, against an army like this, against a faction like Odrysian Kingdom, you'd want each of them to get 1 to 2 XP chevrons. That's the easiest way you can win. But the Lusitani nobles, for the most part, made up for it. Lusitani swordswomen proving to be quite a nuisance and just piling on, but I think they could have been used a bit better. Keeping them, bringing more of them and keeping them in front of the veteran shield warriors would have been a good idea. Not sure why the Scutari spearmen, they are quite expensive at 500 and 400 talents. You can get guerrillas, Lusitani guerrillas who throw javelins and have cavalry counter tactics. I can see why you'd want to bring the Scutari spearmen against other factions because they're much sturdier. But against a faction like Odrysian Kingdom, I think extra javelins with access to cavalry counter tactics, Lusitani guerrillas would have probably been a better idea. Iberian Cav sounds like a good idea, but I'm not entirely convinced on these guys yet. Maybe the Iberian Cav needs even more of a buff. I'm not entirely sure. You guys let me know. But yeah, fun game. Thank you to Angry Wallace for playing this game with me. Hope you guys enjoyed it and stay tuned for more. Peace.